to warn you. They're doomed to stay. Go.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Points of Interest. I'm your host, Josh.
I'm Terry Lee.
And we want to thank you again for tuning in and being a part of this wonderful station, including this wonderful show. We do want to mention that before we get the show started, we want to thank our guest tonight for coming on in such short notice. He is medium, shaman, amongst other skills and abilities that he carries with him, and we'll be Skyping him in here in just a minute. Before we do that, though, I just want to point out that I feel like our investigation that we held at the Leslie Family Tree Restaurant was a very successful one. We had a lot of fun, had some investigation time in. We even had the local police come and hang out with us a little bit. Yes, we did have a mess with Terry Lee at one point.
Yeah, they tried.
No, they did. We got it on video. I watched it, so we just don't have the audio. Unfortunately, you have the audio.
The audio.
For that.
Yeah, the audio would have been great.
Well, you have it, so
I do.
You could always hook us up, and we could add it to the video.
There you go.
Just so you guys know what we're talking about, for those of you who didn't attend that event, there was one of the police cruisers pulled up and was talking with us out at base, and we heard that Terry Lee was going to be coming up the stairs to yell at us because we were being too noisy, so we waited till right before she got to the door. Then the officer started chewing us out, that it's all a bunch of nonsense, and we don't have the authority to park our trailer there and this and that. So Terry Lee comes walking out with just this look on her face like, oh, shit. And he carries it on, takes our IDs, everything else. And I think he asked you at one point, what are you doing here? And you're like, well, we're investigating the restaurant. Do you have permission or you said, we have permission from the owners. And he's like, well, do you have permission to park your truck right here? And you said, yeah. And
well,
like,
I said, yeah, it's a
from
public
the owners.
street.
No, you said the owners gave you permission to park there. And he was like, well, do the owners have authority over the public roads? And anyway, he tells you to look into the trailer at the camera and say the word gullible. Says he did that. We all lost it. It was hilarious. I love how the local police can actually come out and, be interested in what we're doing.
Small town USA, right?
Well, he was really interested in what we were doing. In fact, he even mentioned that, we're brave because even he wouldn't care to, do investigations like that and whatnot. So
that's pretty bad when a law enforcement officer would tell you that.
Well, they're probably used to chasing guys with guns and weapons into dark rooms. So, I could understand being apprehensive about running into a dark room, looking for a ghost. Because you could handle a gun or a knife or a bat or something like that. But
yeah, how do you defend yourself when you're not prepared to defend yourself against the spirit?
Yeah.
I got you.
Not too many people are used to defending themselves against ghosts, especially inexperienced people. And, I was going to talk about that on the show tonight, about the community experience versus inexperienced people, and I think we'll do that for a later time. We're really looking forward to this guest coming on right now, Andy the Medium. We did post a link to his Facebook page, I believe. If not, we will, to his business profile on Facebook. But let's go ahead and get him Skyped in right now. You guys are really going to enjoy him. He really is light-spirited, and sounds like he has a lot to talk with us about. So with that being said, I'm going to call him on Skype, and we'll go from there. Is there anything you want to talk about before I Skype him in?
Yeah, let's kind of touch base on the investigation this weekend at Cafe Neo here in Salt Lake City. It's on 3300 South and about 300 West or something like that. And the investigation was set for this coming Saturday. It's still going to go off at 9 p.m. sharp. The cost is $15 per person. And we're not going to have the meetup that we normally have at 5 p.m. We're not having that this time. But if you want to come a little bit early, you'll be able to, talk, ask questions, meet some of the other investigators and such. And then we'll kind of guide you to the areas around inside Cafe Neo and tell you what the reported haunts are there. So it promises to be a pretty good investigation. It will be at the end of a business day, so there will be a lot of human energy in there, and hopefully that'll help catapult the paranormal experience. So I'm kind of looking forward to it.
All right, looks like we're ready to call them in, so here we go.
Are you there, Andy?
I am here. Welcome. Hello, you lovely internet radio people.
Welcome to you. So
welcome to me. Oh, me. Look at me. I'm radio internet famous people. Hi.
There you go. So can you first of all tell us who you are and what you are all about?
My name is Andrew M. Young. I am a medium. I'm a medium shaman, nice man, witch person. I have been at service with the spirit for the past 20 odd years. I am now 29. I go turn 30 next year. I'm big, sexy. I sound slick, look like Fat Bastard's love child. And yeah, hi.
I think he caught Josh a little off guard. He was trying to take a drink.
I should have known better with that one. I want to start off with, once again, I know we've already said this a few times, but thank you for agreeing to come on the show at such short notice. We really do appreciate that.
Look, Josh, is all I'm going to say to you, this buddy, is I'm only doing my job, as I said to you earlier on, in elsewhere. I said to you earlier on, it's nice to actually get noticed by people upstairs, and as well as yourself and other people saying, hang on, we want to take that guy, pick him up off the street and go, here you go, here's a platform. Go on, take it. Go on, run with it. And look at me now. I'm already running with it, even though I'm about 6'4", and I look like a running defense for the New York Jets.
Well, that's one of the biggest things about this station and what we do is we like to talk to new people from all over, and it's about the community globally. It's learning about individual ideas, opinions, experiences, theories. And like you said, it's an open platform for anybody and everybody to come out, express who they are, what they do, what their skills and talents are, and how they can help people in the long run.
Yep.
So that's the whole reason why the station, the show, everything about it had been formed, was to just spread the word about more people across the globe. Not TV celebrities and not just the top names, but everyday people that are out there doing this without the recognition.
I put this out there first things first. I am definitely not the Long Island medium. This is not your normal. This is not your normal ABC family show. I'm not PG rated. I'm R18 plus.
There you go. Well, see, that's perfect for this station.
Yes, it is.
We welcome all of that. Now, you've been involved for over 20 years, but your gift has started since day one. Is that correct?
I'm basically day zero, day one, day zero, whatever you want to call it. I have had many lives that I have reoccurred. I have experienced many things. I'll just put it this way. Do you guys happen to have the song Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones?
I could probably find it.
Go listen to that song, and that puts me down to a T.
All right.
Because it's to use the actual better phrase. It's usually for me. It's one of the kind of case of it's that first line that hits in. It's like, please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around for such a long, long year. You know, and then, boom, straight in. And it's one of those cases, yes, I sing a little bit.
Hey,
and
we don't need to find the original. You can just sing the whole song for us.
But
my natural singing voice is actually operatic, baritone.
so
there's a little fact
so
for you.
you're saying that you started out experiencing or recalling past lives, is that correct?
I've been experiencing past lives for as long as I can remember.
Wow. Can you elaborate on maybe one that one of those past lives that maybe meant the most to you in recalling?
Well, one of my past lives, which was told to me, which I didn't really think about it as much, but I was talking to a fellow colleague when I was working on a psychic, and I was working on another psychic website, working for another company at the time, and he told me about. Do you guys remember? What do you remember of your English history, or the history of the United Kingdom, in regards to royalty?
Yeah, a little bit.
Right. Well, the madness of King George.
Wow.
That's all I'm saying.
Wow. Okay, that floors me.
You just set her back a minute. She was like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Madness of King George. I was also around. Also remember during the time the round of the Tsars in Russia, Queen Anastasia, and the Tsar Nikolai as well at that time.
Okay, so in these lives, were you upper middle class? Were you peasant? Were you?
It varied. I couldn't really tell you offhand right now, but I remember some stuff as if it was like, as if if you're recalling like a conversation with a friend about, like the night. So say if you were at, let's say, like a concert, and you were like, oh, you did that awesome performance of of whatever song that you liked, and they're like, or say like Justin Timberlake did like a cover of on the cover of the Rolling Stones, or whatever. And it's one of those cases where you kind of go back and you go, hang on, they actually did that, and you're like, then you talk, it's like talking to your friends, and you're kind of like, yeah. So basically, if you're in like a psychic community or medium, more so in my case, if you're in a community of mediumship, of people that are mediums or fellow light workers or light warriors, this is something I'm going to touch upon just in a short time. With the mediumship of your community, and you have a lot of people that you can actually. Mediumship's one of those cases for me, in my own personal being, that people have came to me. I've had people, like normal, common people, come to me and go, "Oh, they're like, Andrew, I really want to do what you do. I wish I could do what you could do." I turn around and go, "No, you do not wish what I want to do or what I can do." Do you know why? Because for to do it, you basically have to have a spine, a brain, and know when and know when not to open your mouth.
Yeah.
And to the case, and strong case, is that there are quite a few famous British mediums, and I say British because they're not necessarily Scottish or English, or there's Irish or Welsh. There's some mediums out there that are, although they work their craft, but they're more of a showman than anything else.
Yeah.
Whereas myself is that I can do the showman stuff, but I prefer, like, I can make you laugh. I mean, I did it earlier on when we were doing the other
Yes,
thing.
you did.
And that one's coming back.
And in general, and it's just one of those things where I sit here, even though I'm sitting here in front of a large screen, and necessarily it's fun, but in the whole case, that when I go to work, I go to work. I don't sit around, I don't really sit around lazing around my ass and going, "Oh, woe is me, I'm a medium, I don't get this X, Y." I used to do that. It's one of those cases where, going back to the whole past life, when you're going back to the whole past lives thing, is that certain things are re-jolted in your brain when you're doing something now. So say something important, like, so say if you're going through education, going through college, going through schooling, going for your degrees and stuff, and then you remember something from, well, you don't remember where it came from, but you remember, you put it down on paper, so as if you're learning history or something, and that's all I can really say. History is history, but if you remember some of it, that's more power to you, because that will teach you, give you something to look forward to in the future at a later time.
Yeah, for sure. And do you almost find that a comfort to be able to have those aha moments, so to speak, where?
Oh, trust me, I've had so many aha moments you wouldn't believe it. It's one of the times where I've actually had one of those I've actually had one of those moments where you actually want to, what you want to do is go in the Super Bowl and run down that and tackle the biggest defense guy there naked.
Put an image in my head I just didn't need.
Oh, come on. I look good.
Well, I think everybody kind of has had almost like a deja vu type moment.
Yeah.
But the experience that you're describing is a little bit more expanded upon than deja vu.
Yeah.
So
it always has been for me. So it is what it is.
See, the first time I ever had deja vu that I could recall, I was in junior high, and it's hard to fathom that you could actually foresee something ahead of time, and then while you're experiencing it, you realize, hey, I've seen this before. Now, for me, I'm more technical oriented. I'm less on the spiritual side as far as being able to sense things or read people or things along that contrast. But with that being said, I have had a fair share of my own gut instincts and my own little experiences behind that. But I wasn't like that from day one. Being born and being that's how you know life to be has to be such a strong benefit compared to somebody who just realizes it later on in life that they have these gifts.
Well, Josh, that's actually yes and a no.
mm-hmm.
There is a yes and a no with a but. Yes, I agree with you. It has its benefits of having what I have now. But I have seen men, women, even kids who are. When I say kids, like young kids that are growing up and they're just putting it in, and their minds are still young. They're basically soaking everything like a sponge.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And think of a young mind like a closed Barachia rose, like a deep red, like a kind of deep kind of purple rose. And think of it like as actually the sunlight's just bouncing off and it's hitting it. And every so often that rose kind of opens up a little bit more and opens up and further. And to that case of that, also to the audience, if you have any questions, I'm actually in the room. Hi.
Squirrel.
I don't actually remember to look. I'm actually in the room, so feel free to ask. But as I was saying, that in general, with everything that with people that are just opening up, that is more of a case of that it was their time to open up. Necessarily, some people have a time. Let's just say it's like life's body clock, if you will. Life's body clock has a case of that when you talk and when you talk about stuff, and specifically this subject, is that for me, if you're open to spirit, you're open to spirit. If you have a psychic, if you feel that you are psychic and you feel that you actually have that ability, then you have that ability. But there's a case of the case in point is it goes along the line of development, where development with your guides and your teachers, and also interpersonal development, saying, right, I want to do this. I actually want to stick my hand out and up in the air and go, hey, teachers, over here, I want some help,
Okay, well, I have another question along that same lines, and yeah, it's okay to learn about those abilities later in life. But for someone like you or myself that have experienced these things your entire life, at what point, does that become a deficit? And in that, I mean, you had to grow up experiencing kind of the similar things that I did. It was, geez, am I crazy? Why can't people see these things? Or why can't they hear them? Or why can't they feel it?
Well, Terry, I'm actually going to tell a little sad story. I'll tell you my actual background. But before I do, hi, Ghost Wolf, you sexy person, you. Basically, my story is this: is that I didn't really grow up at home. I don't actually really have a family. I have blood family, but it's more the case of they're there, and it's kind of just that. More the case for me is that I grew up with spirit. I grew up with spirit in the case of that they brought me up. My teachers, and I actually have a spirit nanny who has been with me ever since. I call her nanny because she's been practically the woman that has actually brought me up, near enough. And when I got through to my younger teen years and stuff, I'm giving you a quick flash forward on this one. When I got to my teens and stuff, just around when my grandfather passed away on my mom's side, that I was actually slowly taught this. It's more the case of the roles of the gentleman. And this is a little thing that I'm going to talk about in a bit more detail. Roles of the gentleman, for me, in life, there's the case of roles of spiritual gentleman and roles of the physical bodied spiritual being inside the body, inside 300 pounds of meat, and and it is what it is. And the way I see things is that in life, where obviously Terry, you probably had different experiences from what I've had, but when I was kind of growing up and having all this stuff, going on, sure, I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't understand it. But later down the line, going into my late teens, into my 20s, I totally understood every single nook and cranny. Because here's a little thing for you guys, is that when I was a lot younger, going through high school, they classed me as stupid. And for the fact...
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I thought I had music there. Sorry. They were classing me as stupid. Actually, I was born with dyspraxia, which is basically dyslexia's sexier technical cousin. And I've said this before. It is, Josh. Trust me. I look at computers. I go, that's wrong. Let's fix it. You're like, hi, how you doing? And you're like, you walk up. For me, I walk up beside a computer and go, how you doing, missus? Want to play?
You're gonna love
it. Basically, computers to me, when I look at computers, it's like computers are more. That's like what it's like to me, like to any other normal man who has a horn for a car. Like a honk, and get it, horn for a car, honk honk.
So I have a question for you, backing up a half a step, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you did not have a family per se.
Yeah.
So you were not, how should I say, belittled or told that you had a wild imagination. So therefore, you stayed open to all of this.
I stayed open to it. I was told, don't be so silly, but, the family-wise and stuff that was going on, Terry, was that when I grew up, I actually was going through the kind of care. I was actually staying with a lovely Polish couple, which brought me up like the kind of in the human sense, anyway. And I had been with them through my young teenage years up till it was time for me to leave where I was staying. and get my own place and X, Y, and Z.
So after you actually moved out on your own, then did you become
doors just
more
went,
in tune? And what was that?
That's what I said. The doors just went.
Exactly. So you
Sorry,
became more like
you
in
didn't
tune
realize I could
and
do
more
that now, did you?
accepting of it. Yeah, we do that quite often around here. So you became more accepting of it and more open to other things
right.
that your
At
guides
the time,
and
yes, I
such
did
brought
try
you.
to. I couldn't understand it, but eventually it just went, hey, it's here now. I can't get rid of it, so might as well work with it.
Uh-huh. So that's awesome.
Well, one of the questions I have is here in the States, it was talking about paranormal was like a taboo thing. It was something.
You want to know what's paranormal?
What's that?
Mormons.
Gee, you're
Those are
talking about
paranormal.
the state we live in.
But for the longest time, nobody could really go out there and publicly talk about spirits or ghosts or activity or issues they were having until the TV shows came out and made it a little bit more accepting. Now, where you're from, was it more common through the years?
Very, very conservative.
What is it?
Where I am just now, in certain circles, yes, it was quite open, but in the area that I'm in, it's actually Scotland is actually, while we have our own mystics, we have our own mystical stories about Loch Ness monster, Nessie. Sexy lady, gotta love her. Generally, and stuff that and we've got Nessie, we've got other stories as well. Those are like mythological fables, or whatever you want to call it. But majority of it's like kind of we do have Christian spiritual churches, as they're called in America. We just call them spiritual churches, and I use the word spiritual. As in the deep side of American words are spiritual, I have to be spiritual, yeah. Hallelujah. Anyway, don't worry, it's not. Don't worry, it's my guides are like they're standing there, they're jumping up and down, like waving the flag, going, "Yay, let's go, yay!" and I'm sitting here, kind of going, guys, come on, you're cramping my style. I'm trying to talk here. Come on.
Well, have you found that it's more accepting now from where you live since the shows have been out and making it more publicly known?
To be honest with you, the shows that are over here actually don't even cover half the stuff that goes on. And I don't like using this word very often. I actually despise some of the shows that they put on because they are poorly made and they basically feed to the side of the public media corporations that just basically want to lambast and bash what supposedly isn't there in their eyes and the critical media around it. I don't know what it's like in the States, but generally, as I said, this is not the Long Island Medium show. I am not the Long Island Medium. I'm Scottish. I'm very upfront and straightforward with you. If you're good with me, I'm good with you. Simple as. And it's just one of those cases of that when these shows came out, that I looked at them and I was like, yeah, okay, fine. But there was a lot of sensationalism. I would say this word again. A lot of sensationalism. Sensationalism. I can't speak today.
No, you got it.
But you know what I'm talking about.
You got it.
And there's a lot of sensationalist stuff around it. And this is why I said earlier on, you go, oh, I want to do what you're able to do, and I wish I could see what you could see and all that stuff. I go, you don't. Because really, if you wanted to do that, you would have been given it on a plate. It would have been handed to you at the time of your conception when you came down to earth from upstairs, and they said, right, you're going there, you're going there, you're going there. Boom, it's done. And by the way, you're getting this, this, and this. You have to deal with this and X, Y, and Z before you die, before you go back over and X, Y. Surely, Terry, you probably understand what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And it's to the case of that with the mediumship and stuff, some of the shows I have seen, that they don't even touch upon important values of a medium, the important values or the kind of more higher senses of a medium, because this is something that's probably hasn't been stated before. There's, like, instead of your usual six, like all your chakras, there's actually more there than what is counted in the normal natural media sources. There is actually a lot more. There's like yourself, your higher self, the crown, and I believe I think there's another one or two above that as well. Which I don't have the names of right off by hand right now, but if I'd actually looked it up earlier when I was playing around with the interwebs, then I probably would have found out. But anyway.
Well, and I understand about, becoming more aware of those chakras, too. Just recently, I've kind of got into this working with the chakras, and that's kind of an eye-opening experience for me. I mean, I knew that they were these energy zones. I just didn't know what they were called.
Gosh.
So every day I learn something new. And I'm sure that's probably pretty much the same way with you as well.
Josh?
Yes, sir?
Have you been having a sore pain in your neck lately, around the muscular area of the traps, the trapeziums, down one side of your arm?
Not so much my arm, but in the center of my back, up right below my neck.
Yeah, I thought so.
It's mostly when I'm laying down. When I wake up in the morning, it hurts pretty bad.
Okay. No worry.
But that just shows you right there.
The reason why I got more mine on, because I'm left-handed. It came on my left side on my the shoulder traps as well.
You're getting that probably from me, and that was an experience I'm carrying with me from last night, whom I empathically picked it up from another medium. So that's probably all going around the bucket.
Whee! Okay, everyone in the bucket.
Yep, there you
splash.
go. So I take it you're empathic as well.
No, I'm actually, with the shaman stuff, you get the healing as well. I do forms of healing, quite a few actually. There's a couple of them that are like the less common ones. I don't know if you're aware of it. One of them's called quantum.
Yep.
There's like quantum healing. There's also a lesser known one, which is actually quite powerful, which was taught to me not so long ago. It's called Omega. Omega healing.
And how does that differ?
That's basically the Omega healing is more the case of as a higher vibration of healing. It's how you have your normal healing from yourself, from the ground, and you do your higher self and up and then higher and higher. Well, basically, this is just basically going straight up, boom, healing's coming through you at the same time. It's a bit like mediumship, but you're actually laying your hands on maybe the shoulders or whatever, and literally focusing all that energy, packing it down into their body, and kind of working on working around it as well. So on that area of pain.
Okay. Well, Ghost Wolf J in the chat room is also a shaman.
Yes,
so
I'm well aware of that.
He's really wanting you to talk about your role as the shaman.
What would you like to know?
Well, can you kind of describe your role as a shaman, whatever it is that you do?
My role as a shaman, I am you probably never heard of this, but I'm going to just put it out there. I'm what you call a kind of neo/techno shaman.
Okay, and can you describe
which is
that?
More kind of you have your old style, you have your new style, and then you have the new old style stuff.
Okay.
And in general, it's one of those cases that the kind of, how you have like neo-pagans, you have druids and all that stuff in the kind of this present day and age, is that I still adhere to the shaman's code. And Ghost will understand what I'm talking about.
Yep,
There's an old shaman code that's built inside of us that is buried deep inside of it. It's written inside of us that you to kind of benefit the kind of, you've got to try and be the balance, kind of be in the balance of the doing good things and like the healing and helping others where possible. if they're like my case with the shaman, for my shaman ability, it's more the case of that, yes, I can help a lot of people with healing and kind of looking inside them and seeing, I can say, look, okay, you have this problem, I want to help you out with this, we can do it this way, we can talk about it. So in a kind of way, it's a kind of a counselor role as well at the same time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And basically, kind of, in a way, I've done dozens of vision quests. Some of the stuff that I probably could tell you about, but you probably wouldn't understand it. And I'd end up talking in a total different language altogether.
Well, there's a few of us. Me and Ghost Wolf would understand that, but Josh is out in the dark.
Yeah.
So in your practice, your profession that you work with is medium shaman.
Yeah.
What is probably the biggest role that you play?
It's actually a mix. It's a 50-50 split.
Wow. So the people where you're at specifically then are heavy believers in shamanism then?
No.
So is this something that you're educating them on?
Right. Here's the thing, is that and I put this loosely. I'll put this word the word ministry. My ministry, and I put this loosely, word ministry loosely as in the context, is that I am not actually known well enough here in Scotland. I am actually barely known. I'm actually shy. Hard to believe, I know, but I am actually I'm actually quite shy. In the kind of case, Vixen Quest, Josh. Just for a note for anyone who's listening, Josh should put a kind of wrong spelling of vision and put Vixen. It was going to be a foxy lady.
Hey, I was just following up with Ghost Wolf's post.
Yeah, I know. But in the kind of case of with me, it's more a 50-50 split. And when I was working online, and I'm still doing the work online, my intention at some point, and this is a little something that I think I told you guys earlier on before the show, that I'm actually well-traveled. I'm well-traveled to the States. I do actually have family down. I say family in the word loosely, as a more like extended family to me. So, say if you have male or female friends that are like brothers and sisters to you.
Yep.
And it's just basically they're there, yeah. So it's one of those cases. And every so often I come down to Florida, stay for like a week for a nice vacation. It's nice, hot, basking sun, and I feel like Shamu. They want to throw me back in the water.
Like Shamu? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm an orca.
Oh my hell. Oh.
So many directions.
We're spun over here. So if you're well traveled, why are you not monopolizing that market?
Oh, I'm already starting on that right now. Why do you think I'm talking to you guys?
Well, I mean, here in the States, people travel we live in the north where it's cold. People travel to the south, do the circuits, all the fairs, the the swap meets or flea markets, whatever you want to call them, the outdoor garage sale type things. In the south when it's wintertime, to try to get their name out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a lot of people are well-traveled such as yourself, but I think I would be capitalizing on every trip you took, trying to get your name out there.
Yeah. That's my kind of full intention to do that. It's more the case of I'll actually give you a conversation. I'll actually let you know in a kind of private conversation I had with my guides about 2 or 3 days ago, and this is more to kind of bring up to date. Is that I was talking with one of my senior teachers, and basically he turned around and he goes to me. He's like, "Well, you keep asking for us to help, so you're going to have to do something in return for us to get you where you want to be." I'm like, "Fine." So he goes, "What do you suggest?" He goes, "Well, there'll be a few opportunities coming your way soon. I'm like, how soon? He goes, I can't tell you that. And I'm like, well, that's not fair. And he's like, well, yeah, but it all depends on how you want to work and how fast you want to get this sorted. I went, that's fine. I can totally understand that. At the same time, one of my shaman guides, Iron Bear, walks up behind me and he's like, he just looks at me and just smiles. He doesn't say very much very often, but when he does, it's like usually, you really do need to listen, because he does get a little bit grumpy, don't you? In general, it's one of those cases where, it's one of those cases where in my kind of line, it's more of the case I'm 50-50 split. My actual shaman name's Black Bear, which was given to me by my guy, which was given to me by my shaman guides. They just which sorry, I can't talk to you for some reason. Give me one moment. Right. Fire away, man. If you get any questions, I can take them just now. Give me a second.
Take your time, not a problem. Once again, we want to make sure that everybody who's listening into the show, if you're on the main page or if you're listening through Shoutcast, go to tiparesearch.com /
Hi, Shoutcast people! I love you!
/chat, and you can actually hop in the chat
Shoutcast
room.
executives are awesome! We all love you!
And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Especially the CEO and the CTO, you're sexy people!
The KOE and the DOG. And
especially the finance person who let us do things. Thank you. We love you.
Absolutely. Now, I kind of wanted to go back a little bit. When I was talking about, the entertainment value that you guys have out there and the acceptance, if it changed anything, I know you and Ghost Wolf would be able to sit down and talk for hours about that topic because he's expressed his opinion on it as well. One of the things I always wanted to point out to people is that you can't really blame the networks, you can't blame the people on the shows or the producers, because what they're doing is they're meeting the demand of the general population, because if the people aren't logging in and watching, then it's obviously not entertaining enough for the masses. And so ultimately we all have to kind of narrow it down to look upon our community as far as what do we actually want to see, what do we want to learn, and how do we actually want to experience it. Does any of that make any sense?
Right.
That works.
The case of learning and entertainment, yes, you can bridge that gap of learning about. You want to learn about that person, about how they came up with their mediumship and what happened to them with their mediumship. But there's also the fact of that some unscrupulous, and I say this, sadly I have to actually say this, unscrupulous companies that run, like the media, run the TV shows and all that stuff, have this habit, especially if you're doing like television media and stuff, that the exploitation. So say if you're doing like reality shows and all that stuff,
right?
To me, it doesn't sit well, because it's like you're always put on the spot, and you can't always and necessarily reality shows. If you're doing reality shows as a medium, they're going to actually ask you to do everything all over again. But the thing is, being a medium is usually a one-take hit. It is a one take and one take alone. If you cannot take what I'm saying to you, it's not my problem, and it's not basically it's not my fault if I happen to be on television, and these people and the executives or whatever can't understand the fact that I'm not prepared to go back and say what I just said, and nor will my guides turn around and repeat it unless they're actually going to say, right, we're going to repeat this again, so that people can actually understand what was coming out of my mouth. Because I know for a fact that most Americans cannot understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. If I go full Scottish, if I go into my full Scottish brogue and my full tongue, you people would never understand me. It's like Spanish people talking together. You know when Spanish people have that massive argument, they're like, you're like, hang on a sec, slow down now.
Yeah.
I
It's a
just
bit like
nod
that.
my head a lot and say, okay.
Or if you want to, or even better, Celtic cousins, Irish and Scottish. Put us in a bar with enough beer, then you'll never understand us whatsoever.
Oh.
Is there
yeah.
ever enough beer?
Don't ask that, Josh.
So you alluded to the fact that some of the media that's portrayed now, about the only show that I can even think of right off the top of my head that come from over there is Most Haunted.
Most Haunted.
Yeah.
There's Most Haunted. There was another gentleman called Colin Fry. When I was talking about media in general, there was initially another the first medium that was doing Most Haunted is a guy called Derek Akora.
Oh yeah.
I do not like that man whatsoever.
What was
I'm
the
sorry,
other
but I
one
do not like him.
What was
and
the
I
other
don't
one?
and when I say this, it's not the fact that I don't know the guy. I'm one of these people that I can take a look at a person, and usually my first instincts, the first judgment is right.
Oh yeah.
And stuff. Ghost. Well, I'm sure we can arrange that later on, buddy.
So Andy, who's the other medium that they had on that show besides Derek?
I'd
recognize the name. I haven't seen the show in a few years now because they jerked it off the regular TV over here, so you can't see it.
I couldn't really tell you. I'd stopped watching it altogether.
Because they had one on there that was just, I mean, he was so gentle about how he proceeded with what he said, which really kind of struck a chord with me.
Gentle? Who you kidding? That man wasn't gentle at all.
Oh, no, not Derek. The other gentleman, the one that I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But
I think
on Most
Derek
Haunted,
there, I was like, no.
Oh, no, Derek.
She was watching a different show.
Yeah.
Sweet baby Jesus, no.
No, Derek was so matter of fact, and it was cut and dry with him. His interpretation was all that and a jar of peanut butter too. So
Can I actually let you know a little secret, guys? And I would love to tell you this. I actually have a dream, and I would love to do this. And partially one of my dreams is that I would love to do a stage show in the States. I'd love to find a giant stage somewhere in the States and have you two invited as well to come over. I'd probably make sure that you get front row seats, because then I'm going to jump in Josh's lap and kiss him.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
awesome.
And generally, one of the cases was that I always want. I keep being shown this, and I'm like, I keep getting told by other mediums that I've spoken to. They go, "You didn't realize you were that good. You could do stage, and you could have people rolling in the hills, and actually want you to come back again." I'm like, really? I didn't notice.
You just start
Bit
doing
of
a
an
comedy
understatement
tour.
right there.
What was that?
That was my manly voice.
Oh my god.
That totally shocked me there. I was like, what the heck was that?
Oh
This
shit.
is my manly side voice.
Oh, that's too funny. No, we got a guest who just popped into our chat room and says, Andy doing good.
So far?
I think that's so far. What about ghosts? I guess they're asking, do you have experiences dealing with actual ghosts and haunted?
Yes, I have. I had tons of them. I've had tons of them. I'll actually give you one. Over here in the United Kingdom, we have... you guys have security companies that deal with derelict buildings and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Over here we have the same sort of thing. except I don't know what that is like in the States if you need to carry a certain type of license. But over in over here in mainland Scotland, I was working for a company called Chubb, which does security. They do all the fire alarms and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they also had the security arm as well. When I was about 18, 19, I was working in a derelict call centre, which had been taken down. Well, it was due to be taken down soon. And the place, from its past, it was actually like kind of like Victorian Edinburgh. It was really, the place was really nice, and the area was nice, but that one place was really haunted. There was actually at that time there was in the place I was in there was groups of kids and stuff. And actually, to tell you the story is that the story is so far that from what I can understand, was there was a massive fire in some sort of house, or someone set a light to the fire, set a house alight and burnt it down to the ground. And there was apparently in the area there was a really evil old man who was vindictive and evil and and I actually literally went head to head with this guy, and he actually challenged me and said, "You can't take me away from here," blah blah blah. Just generally being malicious and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get these kids out of here and the people around. And it took me about a day or so. Well, it took me a good 2 hours, 3 hours, plus with a lot of help from my guides at that time, who've now all changed, apart from one or two who are still here with me. And the story, to the best of my knowledge, is that people did go away, and they did cross over. They were safe. The one guy that I think he ended up either staying or he went elsewhere. But you know what I mean by elsewhere. Anyway, there's one other story I can tell you, was when I was working on a website called Oranum. If anyone's heard of it, Oranum or Oranum.
I've not heard of it, but
Right, okay. It's it's like an Uber site. It's video psychics, like a live psychic. Have you ever heard it's basically they're owned by Dediocad, which is a French, it's like a French name, but it's a company that is run in Hungary, and they actually own a couple of porn sites, which is actually quite sad.
yikes.
They own a couple of porn sites, and I'll give you the background some other time, Terry and Josh. It's a long story, but anyway, one night I was actually sitting. I was about ready to close over. I had a client come to me. She's like, "I'm really worried my grandfather, and he's actually dying and stuff, and he was going to pass away and stuff." I did a reading and I did look in, and at the time he was really afraid. He didn't want to go. He was really scared. But I had actually asked for the powers that be from upstairs to go down and comfort him before it was time. Apparently, from what I understand from my guides, was that his parents were there as well at the time. And more the case, so for me, is that the story was actually quite sad, because when he passed, I felt really tired and went to bed. I woke up the following morning I got woken by what appeared to be an angel, and the lady said to me, she goes, "Sir Andrew, we want to say thank you for your help in getting him across. And we very much appreciate your time, and know that you're loved on both sides of the veil and stuff." Then they just kept saying thank you for what you were doing,
That's awesome.
and stuff. So it was one of those cases that I had in general. I loved doing what I was doing. and I have done for quite some time, especially when you have the good moments. Now, there is bad sides to the mediumship, and don't get me wrong, Terry, you understand when I mean this.
Yeah.
There is the upsides, and then there's the downsides. The downside is that everyone that finds that you're a medium wants to become a freebie seeker.
Yeah.
Always seems to, from my experience, wants of something for nothing.
You got that right.
And I've had a lot of experience in this, and this is just something that really... I think I'll leave the subject well alone, but I'll put a footnote on it that I don't really like. I'm one of these people that I practice my craft diligently and truthfully, and I've had a lot of people saying, "Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that," and then I have actually just turned around and said, no, Z-Dub, I'm not Irish, I'm Scottish, thank you very much. Sorry, Z-Dub, wrong country. Anyway, we got caught. It's not top of the manor to you. I'm Scottish. Anyway, as I was saying, that I put an exclamation mark in this one right now, is that in general, in my own personal life, I feel that with everything that's going on, that people, sure, there's people that are necessary and they do have a genuine need. And fine, I don't mind helping those guys because usually it's my guides that point them out to me. But I have had so many people in the pitfalls of this saying, "Oh, I want help. Can you help me? I need to find out this and X, Y, and Z." I'm like, if you want to help yourself, do it yourself. It is the biggest mantra I can give anyone. You want to help yourself, do it yourself. Because I'm not going to basically stick my hand out only for you to chop it off with a cleaver, despite the rest of my body. Now,
one of the things I wanted to kind of pick your brain on is you mentioned that anybody who wants the ability has the ability. Do you think there's a fine balance, or do you think there's a benefit
there's a definite fine balance
to having both sides of the spectrum? Because, like I said earlier about myself, I really don't have those type of abilities. Either I've never accepted them or I've never pursued them. But
actually, Josh, I've got something that can correct you right there. You actually do have your abilities. You just haven't bothered to look at them properly.
Well, one of my beliefs behind that is the way I handle and the way I approach cases and investigations. My frame of thought actually protects me from further endangering myself. Do you believe that to be true or not?
Can you say that again?
With my approach, my mindset, and the way I conduct investigations, I believe that I protect myself a little bit more from having things follow me home or haunt my house, things along those lines.
Like any medium, Josh, I'm going to tell you something right now. Any medium who is worth his or her salt can obviously block that out, can stop that, because it's not too hard to protect yourself.
No,
it barely,
totally
for
agree.
me, for anyone, even the most inexperienced person, actually, can protect themselves like the mere snap of a finger. Snap your fingers as if you're listening to music.
Okay. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, and I totally agree. I've been after Josh for as long as I've known him. Open up a little bit, I mean, what are you so afraid of? But I can see both sides of it.
The way I view it, though, is, I believe that there's a benefit to having both sides of the spectrum involved at the same time, because I believe if you have people with the ability working alongside with people who focus on different abilities, you're bringing that much more to the table. That's honestly how I view it. And
I agree with you. I agree with you totally. If you're dealing with people have, say I had a totally different skill set. So let's just say I was a complete computer geek, but I knew a friend who was a mathematician, and we were trying to work on a program of, say, like, kind of teaching kids about how certain things work in life. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give you the smart but the layman's terms of what can be done. If two minds come together, it's great. But I also mentioned this. I quote Tommy Lee Jones as Agent K from Men in Black. A person is smart, people are dumb.
I agree. I completely agree.
A person is smart, people are dumb. A person is intelligent, knows what they're doing. People are erratic, and it's like a headless chicken fight.
Yep,
you know?
it's contagious.
And it's contagious, and I've been places where I've seen monkey shit fights more intelligent.
Oh, to see those monkeys.
Yeah, poo slingers. That's what we call them.
Well, yeah, I mean, just kind of going back to that, you know, the fact that I could bring something different to the table. Sometimes people want to hear more about not what you can see or what your guides or what other people are telling you and what you're sensing. Sometimes people just want to talk to somebody who's like them. They could relate to those type of people more.
Exactly.
Yeah, but knowledge is power. It doesn't mean you have to share it.
Well,
actually, Terry, you've got that right on the KIP.
Thank
However, knowledge is power, KIP. But the thing is, I agree that to share is good, but I don't share. But here's the little trick. And I'm sure member of the audience that Ghost will explain this as well. We never exactly share people who have inner secrets. We never actually share our family secrets. We never share those little secrets that you keep under your sleeve when you really need them. It's like hey, to use a better phrase, ace in your sleeve.
Yep.
Or with me, I carry at least 4 card decks.
It's a lot of aces.
Well, and you are absolutely correct. And you know, you talk about your guides and what you get from your guides, and I'm sure that there's an unspoken rule there between you.
Yes.
What is you know your
Do you want to hear something about unspoken rules?
Okay, go for it.
Okay. Do you guys know anything about the kind of like the stuff about light workers, or heard about it?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to teach you a little. Allow me to put on my professor's hat and gown, and Professor Andrew is going to actually teach you a little bit something about light warriors.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, from the beginning, you have your scales of light beings or people that do light work. You have your mediums, your light workers. You have your light ambassadors. Then you have light warriors, and then it just goes up and up and up. Right just now, for me, I am a light warrior, but I'm a more advanced light warrior. It's more of the case. So I say light warrior, but there isn't really a name for me as well. There isn't really a name yet, but I can say this to you. Actually, I've just been corrected. Light guardian, I've been given. Light guardian. And basically, I've been classed as a light guardian. There's light warrior, basically light bringer. Well, light warriors. I'll say this again. Light worker, light ambassador, light bringer, light warrior, light guardians. And basically, I've been classed as a light guardian. And the thing is that, like some of the light guardian, with the whole thing about unspoken rules, the first part of the chapter I've actually asked before I came on air with you guys, if I could give a small tidbit of what I was taught when I was going through this whole stuff. Is when I was taught that the first part of the Light Workers Charter, or Light Warrior, whatever you want to call it, is ye shall not know your fellow kin by their name, but ye shall know them by their light. If you understand what that means.
I most certainly do.
Yeah, it does make absolute sense.
Ye shall not know their name, but ye shall know them by their light. And more the case of that with Ghost will understand this as well. Hopefully he does. That the member chat ghost person. Hiya, sexy person. I love you. It's so nice to have another shaman. I can just spell and boom, 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 and stuff. And it's one of those cases that, in general, when you're working on it, with the whole thing with light guardians, is that we are like a walking beacon, and light guardians as well. Light guardians can come in many shapes and sizes. My size, you can come as a midget, or you can come the size of the NCIS LA's Linda Hunt, who's actually a nice lady.
Yikes!
Yep. No, look. Have you ever watched NCIS? Right, the Los Angeles Linda Hunt. She is tiny, but she is formidable. She is scary as hell.
Yeah.
And she's got that air of presence around her. She might be tiny, but she's got a presence of a giant. This is what I'm trying to say. The kind of light guardians, light warriors, can all come in shapes and sizes. You may have certain different skill sets and stuff. Part 2 of that charter, as I was going to mention, is that ye shall be, to use the better words, ye shall be having faith that thine will we walk in the light of walk in the light of power and light of power. I'm trying to translate it properly for you guys because it's actually written in a different language. You should walk in the light of power and light anyway, light of power. That's number 3. It's like kind of number 3 falls down, and to use the actually Z-Dub are not actually that self-promoting. You guys let me allow it to address this. Z-Dub, I am not actually self-promoting because here's the thing. This is what most people won't tell you, most mediums won't tell you, is that I'm actually self-preserved. I don't generally. I actually have to take offence to that statement, and I don't want to, but I kind of have to, due to the fact that I'll give you a good reason why. Is that most mediums, yes, you have ones that are like, "Woo, yay, I'm over here, I'm loud, you can see me, look at me, I've got a great big neon sign on top of my head as a hat."
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't work like that with me. Yes, I can make people laugh. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do things. I can make people laugh if I can talk to people and stuff, and it's one of those cases where you sit there and you look at the giant scale of things, and then you look at yourself and try to look on the inner self as well. This is the same thing that I was taught when I was going through my light worker phase, growing up to where I am just now.
So,
as it the whole,
I do have a question along that same line.
Yeah.
You know, you don't walk around and start spewing information at somebody arbitrarily out of a crowd.
Exactly.
You wait until they approach you. Is that not correct?
Yes and no. Yes, I don't spew it all out to the public, but if I feel there's something needs to be said and I feel that I can approach them about it, then if Spirit nudge me and go, right, we can approach this, then I try and approach them gently. But if I know if I feel that they won't, I can't get receptive. This is where I was talking about earlier on about being open to people and being closed over, and generally people come to you and having that kind of, having that contact, having the contact from upstairs and actually bringing it out and actually being a vessel and the voice as such. And my knowledge of this is actually quite vast because I've had a lot of experience of it, and it's not just like during my younger years, it's been even more recently as well, which a few examples, not off by hand I could give you, but I would need to really think about a few of them properly, word them correctly as well, because right just now I'm like a kid in a candy store. I am bouncing. I'm like a fat kid in a sugar rush. I'm like, yay!
Well, as long as you stay in this orbit, we're good.
For now, anyway.
Well,
one of the questions I wanted
Josh,
to ask
what do you mean for now, Josh?
Well, you always have to expand. You always have to explore.
That's
right? So there's always more to learn. One of the questions I wanted to ask you is you're talking about the light and how it works. Now, the light also attracts spirits to it. Is that correct?
Yes and no.
Okay.
The light can be used to do. The light is actually used to do many things. Many things, not just attract spirits to it.
Okay. The reason why I kind of asked that question is because I have a running nickname in the local community of being a paranormal deterrent, because whenever I show up to a location, all the activity stops.
Lol.
It's a proven fact. You can even ask me.
Well, and that's not entirely true, Josh, because I still pick up stuff, but because you're in your mindset of the technical, I'm more in it for the sensitive. I still pick up stuff. I may not always share it with you.
Well, you gave me grief just last week about how I
That's
show
true.
up and all the paranormal stops.
That's true. That's true for almost everybody else in the room, but they're not
Right.
mediums either.
Gosh, I'm going to let you know a little thing. If at one day we happen to cross paths and stuff, I say if one day, maybe this might actually happen, and I do come on an investigation with you, trust me, you'll find out what happens.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds like a challenge.
Well, I have had my experiences. I have seen full-bodied. I have heard voices. I have had things move around me, but it just doesn't seem to be as common or frequent with me as it does with just about everybody around me. And I don't mean just about the sensitive part. I mean the apparitions, the shadows, object manipulation, electrical manipulation.
And I do agree with that fact.
And for some reason, that stuff just does not seem to take place as frequent with me as it does just about everybody else in the field that I've worked with. And I was kind of curious to know what your thoughts as to why that might be.
It just depends on the kind of area and how active. Let's just say if you're in like say for instance you're in like an asylum as such.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, there's been a lot of an old asylum that's been derelict and you've been sent in to investigate before they shut it down and take it down and stuff. That, yeah, it all depends on what was there beforehand, what is and what isn't. It's basically two different things,
Okay.
And it's more. In your case, in the technical case, I couldn't really explain it. In my own personal case, I could, maybe mine and possibly Terry's, I could probably explain this to you into a fact that it's more a case of what is and what isn't. If something is there, it's there for whatever reason it was there. It was left behind, and it didn't cross. He or she or being did not cross. However, the way I see things is that if it crossed but there's still things left behind, then, and there's activity. But as you said, that if you go to a place and there's no activity and they've kind of actually seen you coming. They're like, you know what, when he's got his back turned, we're just going to run up behind him, and then stick our tongue out and go, bleh, and you probably wouldn't have noticed.
So they're kind of selective as far as who they want to interact with.
Well, I wouldn't say they're selective. You've just got to be there at the right time, right place, right time.
Okay.
Or in certain cases, with certain haunted places, right place, wrong time.
That seems to be my routine. Right place, wrong time. Now, another thing I wanted to kind of bring up is just recently I accepted the fact that I believe that I do have a guardian angel. That's something that I never really accepted up until maybe about a month ago. And by just recognizing that I have
You
a
speak
guardian,
up a little bit, buddy.
just by recognizing within the last month that I have a guardian angel, is that going to change or possibly change the way my investigations are conducted?
Nope.
Okay.
Because guardian angels have. In fact, allow me to do something. I don't really do this very often. Allow me to. I'll use my words of my own guardian angel, Michael, and Mike, and let him use. I'll give you what he said. What he sent to me.
Okay.
Go, Mike. Come on. Guardian angels have always had the choice to protect humans in the mortal realm. That they chose, or we chose, that we are with you always until that time that you have to change, when you have to cross back over and you have to go home.
Okay.
To know that you actually have a guardian angel is a good thing, and know that we actually are out there and we look after you. We have your best interests at heart. We like to try and help you the best we can. For you, Josh, that your guardian angel is always with you, and the fact that you've acknowledged is a good thing. It won't change your line of work. It won't change the things that you do in your life. It just means that that person, you have recognized that person or the angel in question, and that you have done, you have accepted what is there. It's not a bad thing.
It makes me feel a bit more comfortable, too, just by the fact that I feel like I have somebody who's with me that's looking out for my best interest. Prior to recognizing it, I always felt like I was solo. It was just me and who I am, and that's
You're
it.
never alone, Josh. You're never alone.
That's what I'm starting to feel, and I look back through the years about some different scenarios I've been in, and I could see where that guardian has stepped in and helped me out. I just didn't recognize it back at the time.
Right, to answer a question in the chat room I just spotted, how does one realise they have a guardian? ZW, your guardian angel, or your gatekeeper, or however you want to call him, is usually the one guy that you will notice first. They are with you since day one. Since day one that you were conceived in this human body or this life. Some true ghosts, some never do. But this is the case that when I speak about it, it's more the case of that they are there. You've just got to try and open your heart a little bit to them. That's all I can say about that.
Now, with that being said, one of the approaches I took, or one of the reasons that led me to believe in mine, is a long conversation I had with another guest about gut feelings. And they always say, go with your gut. If your gut tells you not to do something, then don't do it. And a lot of times, how it was explained to me is your guardian angel is the one who's giving you that gut feeling. Is that true?
Can you repeat the question again, Joshua? You kind of broke up.
It didn't really make sense when I asked it, but I'll try it again. A lot of the gut instincts or the gut feelings that people get, I was told
Gut instincts are gut instincts, really, for me, in my eyes.
Okay.
Gut is gut, but if you think there's something else there that's guiding you in that point, then you're most likely right.
Okay, because I've always kind of ran off, my gut feeling is telling me that I shouldn't go to this event for one reason or another. Then I find out that something happened at the event. Something somewhere was telling me.
And yet your technical mind says you should have gone.
Yeah, because I could have filmed it all. So I was just kind of curious about that. Now, Ghost Wolf says I call mine my totems. Is that another term?
Totems, yeah. Totems your totems are basically animal spirits.
Ooh,
Use a better word for them.
That raises another question I have for you. About 9 months ago, I had this really vivid dream, and I, to this day, cannot explain it. But in this dream, I had.
Josh, can I stop you for a second? I'm not a really big of a dream guy. Okay.
Okay.
However, I will give my best to you.
All right, perfect, and that's fine. But in the dream, I felt like I had 3 demons that were in human form that were trying to attack me. The weird thing is I started to growl in this low, heavy pitch, almost like a lion would growl.
Mm-hmm.
And I had actually woke up, and later that day, I can't explain it, but I let out that exact same growl. And I was just wondering if that could be relevant to possibly a totem, or if it was just a random act.
It's more the case of, in fact, I'll use the better. My explanation's not actually that good, so let me give me a second here. Let's see what they're saying. Oh, that's my own guides and see what they're saying.
No problem.
And
Inner strength.
Inner strength.
Inner strength and battle your own demons.
Okay. That I could make a lot of sense out of, so that helps understand that a little bit more for me. What were you going to say, Terry Lee?
Say again?
I wasn't. I'm over here sitting on my tongue.
Go ahead. You can talk. It's all right.
Come on, Terry. I don't bite.
I'll stay sitting on my tongue.
You know, for people that has logged in since we started, go ahead and tell us how people can contact you and talk further with you outside of the show.
Sure. You can reach me. I'm on Facebook. I have a work page. I have a work/fan page at facebook.com/Andy, ANDIE, the medium.
Perfect. Now, do you do like readings by request? Do you set up?
I do actually do readings. That, as I said, it's my business page. It's actually my temporary business page because right just now I'm actually in the process of looking to get a new website built for myself.
Oh, okay.
As kind of the more kind of business progresses. The Facebook page as well is just basically it's for anyone that wants to want to ask me questions, and ever wants to find anything out about me, you basically go there. And so long as you are good and you're good with me, I'm good with you.
Perfect.
If you give me 1 second, I need to get some water.
No problem. So yeah, with that being said, I mean we've learned a lot about the abilities, the gifts, and everything else.
We're back in the room.
I'm actually kind of curious to learn more about your town and about your surroundings. And once again, being in the States, everything we know and have grown up to is completely different to the way you have grown up. And I'd like to learn more just about your general local area and what your town and what your daily activities are.
Right, well,
like.
I stay close to the city of Stirling. It's a small, it's actually quite a large town. But I say Stirling as a kind of general area. The area, Stirling itself, is actually quite haunted as well. Obviously, because you have Stirling Castle. There was also, if you look up the Scottish history, the Battle of Bannockburn. There was that was that one time when we took the English to the limit and we basically held their arses up to themselves. You know, it's a bit like the rebels and stuff going, the English are coming, the English are coming. No, it's a bunch of Scots people. Aye, how you doing?
So is your town the town that you live in? How far back in history does it date?
Oh, it goes way, 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 way back. It's so far back that I can actually cash my pension on it.
Wow, that's pretty far back.
Yeah, I know. Don't. See, the thing is, guys, I don't know what you guys believe. Is that my spirit, my personal inner being, I'm a very, very, very old man.
Yes, you are.
Oh,
I can tell that from the get-go.
And I have been in the town and stuff. It goes way, way far back and stuff. Right around to the first kings of England and all, England, Scotland, and all that stuff. And in general, the Scottish history and stuff. Scotland's one of those places where it can be either quite fantastically spooky and enjoyable, or it can be completely and utterly boring.
And which do you find it?
Yeah, somewhere in the middle.
Well, that's a good place to be. So, you alluded to your mythical or mystic type history. Is there anything that you would like to elaborate on? Maybe a story that we do not know anything about from over here.
Well, yeah. Actually, there was actually a story that I was told as a young child. Do any of you guys remember the story about Vlad the Impaler, or more commonly known as Dracula?
Yep.
Well, apparently he was supposed to have actually had a Scottish castle. He was supposed to have a castle in Scotland.
Wow.
Don't know where. It was never really told, but that's something that was something that was told to me when I was a little boy, and I'm like, that's not right. Dracula only exists in Bram Stoker books, and even then, it's not Gary Oldman that's playing him.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, wow. Okay, I found my audio dial. Well,
I've another little thing just to make you guys laugh. Right? Guess which? Like, you know, I like American culture. I like some parts of American culture. I don't like all of it. Okay. So I'm a kind of a comic book guy. I say kind of.
He fit right in Vegas.
So here's a question for you guys: which superhero do you think I would be?
Wow.
I'd have to think about it.
Yeah, give us a minute to think on that one.
If you want to go with my first response, it would be Magneto. It's a superhero.
You're actually close. Magneto is one of my one of my villains. I would like.
Right, and I mean that was the first one that popped in my head was Magneto. But even though he's not a hero, he's a villain. It's still the first one that hit. Looks like
God,
Ghost
Professor
Wolf,
X.
Yeah, Ghost Wolf J chose Professor X.
No, wrong. Both.
You
know why?
Why?
John Jones, Green Lantern, the black guy.
I'm thinking of the Green Lantern. I'm just trying to remember which one he was.
John Jones was the black Green Lantern human.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wasn't exactly the nicest Green Lantern.
Well, he got the job done.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, guest 2270 said Pepe Le Pew. Oh, wow.
But I'll actually be honest with you. One of my this is just I touch upon this for fun on my side of the spectrum, is that when I mentioned that is the fact, he was Green Lantern after Hal, and this is what I'm saying. He was Green Lantern after Hal, but it was just like, Ghost. It is what it is. I know I'm not black, but I do like my soul music. I like to get funky now and then, and yes, I can dance. I'm a fat guy. I'm a chubby. I admit it. And and if there's any females out there, yes, I'm single. And specifically the nice curvy ones as well. I love curvy women. I'm sorry, I can't help it.
You love what?
Anyway, moving on.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm going to have to listen to that recording again so I can figure out what he said.
I'll loop it a few times for you.
Right, I said I love curvy women. I had to stop myself because I was having impure thoughts.
Oh, okay.
I put myself back.
Okay. Backing up the end zone.
Yes, back in the end zone.
All
and
right.
speaking about end zone, let's not repeat what I said to you off air about the gag about the end zone thing.
Oh, come on. That was recording, too. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, God, no.
No.
Watch this. Josh has got that recording. It's going to go on the outtakes, and I'm like, oh, crap.
Hey, we have talked about doing an outtakes.
Oh, and I still think we ought to roll with that program because it would be hilarious. I'm telling you, we've had our moments here for sure.
Now, one of the questions I have for you is for somebody who's just starting to discover that they have these abilities and how to utilize them, what are some of the most important messages you have for them?
For anyone that's becoming a breakout medium and you are starting from scratch, I suggest that you you basically ground yourself. Make sure that you are down to earth. Accept what is there. Well, you can accept what's there, but also take it with a pinch of salt in life. Always try and have a spine in a personal moral code that will carry you for the rest of your life. And also, one of the main things I will suggest and stress is that you hold yourself to your highest ability. If you can't push yourself to be better, then why are you doing the job in the first place?
Yeah, you got that right.
That's some
You
very
can't
good
push
advice.
yourself to be better than you, and your guides are pushing you, but you're standing going, I don't want to do this, I don't like that. Wow, what is me? Where's my ice cream cone? Tough, you ain't getting one.
Well, you know, and you alluded to something that is so apropos when you said that when your guides give you a gift, they expect something in return.
Exactly.
It's not all a give and a receiving on your behalf. It takes work.
Yeah, it takes work. It does.
Now, I've had some investigators in the past who obviously were not grounded. I won't get into the details why, but how does one make sure that they're grounded?
Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of practice. To quote the Grand Master of the martial art that I studied a while ago, and to use the English version of it is, we need more practice. This came from basically Cooks and basically, if you ever heard a martial art called Cooks 1, look up the family that are the heads of that, and basically their motto is, we need more practice, because when you're doing that and you practice, you are refining, honing, and you are basically chiseling away. It's like a fat guy going to the gym. He's getting fit. He really wants to lose that weight, and he puts the effort into it. Then boom, snap of a finger, you can basically put a mass, what would be, to anyone else who wouldn't understand it, what would be like a crystal pyramid right over your head, boom, right in the ground. You could walk with it like 24/7, all day, every day.
Okay.
I'll actually give you one of my personal techniques. I'll give you what it is. I won't tell you how I do it.
Okay.
Is that I actually have what is called a moving prism. I actually do this, and Terry, you should know about this. If you don't, ask your guides to teach you.
Yeah, I know what it is.
The moving prism is basically this: when you're out in the city, you are doing shopping. You are going out, and you're say if you're paying bills, doing shopping. It's just basically walking protection for your own interpersonal protection. Because when I walk about town, I work with a decagon protection circle. A decagon, not an octagon, a decagon. So basically, it's like a circle within a circle within a circle within a circle, and basically there's like some magic and stuff in there as well. Some light magic, a little bit of grey magic in there as well. It runs in my body, and a lot of things that have been taught to me, I can apply into the public. I can teach you. But the thing is, for me to teach you, you need to be willing to learn my way of doing things, not only my way, but Spirit's way of doing certain things at a certain time. You don't do it, you won't learn, and you will not achieve.
That's pretty right to the point.
Makes you really sit back and think.
Yeah.
It truly does. We have a question in chat for you from Z-Dub. He wants to know what advice you have for new investigators who are willing to push the limits for cool YouTube videos.
Don't push the limits, stay where you are. You know why?
Why
Because if you keep pushing those buttons, Z-Dub, and this is the thing, this is what I'm going to say to you, keep pushing those buttons and generally not knowing what you're doing properly, then it's going to either A, it may go wrong and backfire, or it may fly in the air. It may just explode on YouTube, and you may just get famous for doing something rather maybe like A, stupid, or B, you got lucky in doing something. YouTube's one of those things that's oversaturated with video creators, video makers, people that just make stuff. It is oversaturated. I should know because I'm a YouTuber myself. But the thing is, I'm a gamer. I actually play video games. Yes, I know it's a sad shock, but I play video games. I do put them on my YouTube channel. Not telling you what it is, though. You need to find me. Because it's not.
Oh, and we will, and we'll post
games
the link.
Are not spiritually related, so
we will find you, and we'll post the link.
I'll give you it later.
Okay.
I'll give you it much later.
Josh has named me the Facebook stalker, so.
Yeah, when I want to stay in touch with somebody.
Let me just say this right now. From Teddy, from just the sound of your voice, and if you're single, you can stalk me anytime.
Careful what you ask for.
Yeah, I was going to say, one medium to the other. Careful what you wish for, honey. Woohoo!
So somebody will be on your doorstep at tomorrow afternoon.
I'm not. Do you see me complaining?
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm wondering, is Eve? Are you still here, sweetheart?
She's here, but she's probably doing other things. She's a multitasker.
Paging Eve.
I see her last.
I'm gonna wait. I'm just gonna sit here and wait until she actually answers.
Eva.
Well, I think she was wanting you to comment back here on what's your thoughts about Teresa Caputo on the Long Island media.
I don't really know her that well. I don't really know of her background and stuff. But from what my guides say, that she is a nice lady, but she the show has given her a bit of a head, giving her a bit of a head.
Yeah. Well, and I think being in the public eye tends to do that to you.
The rest of the statement there was where she just walks up to anyone and starts talking.
Yeah, I think that was back when we were talking about imposing our abilities or our gifts upon, just anybody on the street. Eva's joined us back in chat now, so go ahead and ask your question there, Andy.
Okay. Eve, you're a nice lady. I thank you for letting me come on the show. And I've got cookies in the fridge and there's some milk there as well. Go help yourself. If you look on the bottom pantry, there's some nice freshly made cheesecake.
Cheesecake?
Oh yeah, I love cheesecake.
Oh, there you go.
Nothing wrong with cheesecake.
Well, there's a man off my heart right there.
Yep.
Can I actually be honest with you?
Sure.
And I've said this before. If anyone wants to bring me, you want to get my good side. Even if I'm feeling grumpy and I'm a grumpy bear, and you want to get in my good side, bring me a freshly made orange and white chocolate chip based cheesecake.
Ooh.
That'll get you anything
I was going to say, I've never even heard of that, but it sure sounds good.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to be looking up the menu.
And you never know, I might share it with you.
They'll just have to eat their own in the car before they bring yours in.
It just depends on who you are, Josh. And
I hate these quiet moments on the other end.
You could tell he's thinking. All right. Well,
you're like, yeah. What is he going on about now?
Something's coming.
Did I hear that right? Did he try to do a homoerotic bromance me at the same time with cheesecake? Your answer is yes, I did.
Only if it has a strawberry topping.
Oh, shoot.
I could do strawberry.
All right. Well, once again, I want to put out my thank you. The station, tipa-online, wants to thank you for coming on the show tonight and sharing with us. And we'd like to actually extend it out a little bit further and let you know anytime you want to come back on, talk with us, maybe tell us about some new things you're working on or new experiences.
Yep.
We want to
Let's
keep...
put it this way. You have my name. You pretty much have my number. Well, almost. And I'm not going anywhere just now.
Well, yeah. When you plan.
Where there's Wi-Fi, I have an earpiece and a mic. And say if I'm in a hotel somewhere on the other side of the world, and happens again, what happened tonight, give me a shout.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you back on even more as a regular because it's definitely enjoyable talking. Yeah. Eva was still trying to figure out if you're trying to romance the guys or the girls.
Right. I'm going to give you... So we're near enough the end of the show, yes?
Yeah, we're going to be ending it.
Right. So I'm going to give you something to think about before... I'm going to give you my final thought for everyone here. Everyone who's in the chat room, everyone who is listening across the Shoutcast radio system, you sexy, lovely people, I love you. Thank you for listening. Especially with the CEO, the CFO, the CTO, the CSO, and the CTO secretary, the other secretary, and the undersecretary, and the janitor as well. Hi, I love you too. Keep scrubbing.
We'll be sure to give them a sticky note saying thanks.
And any Shoutcast partner listening station people. Hi.
Absolutely.
You may be a fellow investigator or not, but I still love you for even thinking about to listen to me. I appreciate it a lot. And hopefully, maybe you might want to listen again to tipresearch.com for the radio. Yeah.
Well, I
and
must
then
say,
you want to listen to me babbling on about a lot of crap about spiritual stuff, and then I make people laugh like Terry.
hey, and you're a big hit with the people in the chat room. I want you to know that. So you've got shout outs from...
So I see.
Yeah, from just about everybody that's in there tonight that they want you to come back soon. So
yeah.
Open invitation.
We'll be with Eva and have her kind of stalking you as well, and we'll get you booked again, okay?
One other thing I'm going to say to you guys is that I am available for... I'm going to do a shameless plug here, and this is where I do the ultimate shameless plug. You can find, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you can find me at facebook.com/ANIDE, the medium. Andy, the medium. It is the exact same way it's spelled in the chat room. If you want to have a reading with me, you want to have a sit down, I do Skype. I do Skype calls. I do picture email readings. Hell, if you're close by and you're listening, and if you're in United Kingdom, hell, if you pay me enough, I'll even come and visit you.
Well, now there's a thought. We need to book him a gig in Vegas.
There you go.
We're right next door to Vegas.
Now,
dude, you want to know something? I'm actually planning to come to Vegas next year.
Are you serious?
Seriously.
Oh, well, hell, we'd have you in the studio
I'm a big gamer. Sony Online Entertainment, I have an event for the PlanetSide 2. And no, guest, I'm not Irish. I am Scottish.
I was just telling Josh to type Scottish.
I didn't need to. I knew he was going to read that and respond to it.
Oh, my God, how funny.
Now, since we're throwing around some shameless plugs, could you give us one? Give us your title, and you're listening to...
Okay. My title is... Well, you can call me... Usually people call me Andrew, Andy, or Hoy, you fat guy in the corner. Come here and I can talk to you. But generally, my shameless plug right now for my temporary working Facebook page thingy is facebook.com/Andy the Medium. And also, yes, Eva, I do need a manager. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you later on Facebook.
Hey, she's the woman for the job.
Yeah. She just put herself in the hat there, so why not?
Can you give us one and then end it with you're listening to Points of Interest?
Right, what do you want me to say?
Just your title, who you are, and you're listening to Points of Interest on tipa-online.
Hi, my name is Andrew M. Young. I am a Scottish medium, psychic, shaman, and nice guy all around that likes to make Terry and Josh laugh. You're listening to Points of Interest.
The doomed to stay. Go, 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 go.